like to go over how to adjust the saddle for the rider. We already went over how to adjust the seat length, so we know we can change the actual seat size. But now we're going to adjust the stirrup rigging, the stirrup leathers, and the rigging. And this does take a few minutes. I suggest if you're going to do this that you put on a television show and just take your time. You have to work your way into the saddle slowly, and it's easier to do if you don't feel rushed. And typically when you get your new saddle, don't be surprised if you have to do this a few times. It takes time like anything else to adjust the saddle to fit the way you want it. When you're riding a lot of hours, you notice details, and we want to make all those details as comfortable as possible for our rider. So we're going to work our way the same way we did to get to the seat cantle wedge. We're going to work our way under the saddle until we get to the inner workings. And this saddle has not yet been ridden on a lot, so it's still rather easy to get into it. You'll find that the more hours you spend in your saddle, the tougher it can be to work that Velcro up. So it's kind of a compliment. If you find it difficult to work up, it's not your fault. It's simply a matter of you probably spent a lot of hours in that saddle. Okay, so now we've exposed the inner workings. I'm going to bring this closer so you can see. This is the underside of the seat. Eli makes or offers a casual pad that can be placed under the seat for those riders that appreciate as much padding as possible. That can be done there. Or of course you can do the traditional putting a pad on top of the seat. You can see here, see if I can expose this. You can see here the straps that go down to the stirrups, and I've already moved those. There's two straps. When it comes to you, it'll come to you in a D shape, like a capital letter D, and go across the back. This gives you as much, this gives your horse as much spreading of the weight as possible. Now, I appreciate my stirrups a little further forward, so I already worked my hand under these and worked these forward. Now, if you look closely, you can see where the ring comes down with the rigging, and that rigging is directly underneath where my stirrup leathers are. So right here is our stirrup leathers and our rigging. And again, this is not as it comes from new. This has been played with a little bit. So normally this would be two straps, one back here and one directly across the top. I'm going to put this back and see if we can show you better. How that's adjusted. Okay, now that we have our seat folded over top, you're going to need to work your hand under the center of the saddle. This is the part that probably takes the most amount of patience. Work free. You can work free these straps that hold the stirrups in place. And there my stirrups are completely disengaged. That allows us to see the rigging strap. And Eli also conveniently puts a tape measure here so we can see that we've got it even on both sides. I'm going to remove this temporarily so you can see better. There's our tape measure. There's our rigging. If I wanted to move the rigging back further, for one reason or another, I feel like I'd like it at a different position. Again, I'll lift up on it slowly, work my hand under, and free the rigging from the rest of the saddle. And it can be moved, and you want to definitely do it so it's the same on both sides. So you want to do the same thing on the opposite side. In this case, I like where the rigging is. I'm going to make sure it's even, and I'm going to leave it at that spot. Yes, we're good. Okay. Stirrups. Some people prefer the stirrups more directly underneath where their hips would be, more of a dressage position. And some prefer more of a chair position. If you're a heavier rider, it might be wise to keep your stirrups spread out over a wider area. But either way, you have a good 3 inches of width that is spread over. And you put your stirrups exactly the way you prefer them. Again, making sure that they're even. You don't want to be in front on one side and behind on another. Even there. And then we're going to put our saddle back down. Now, to make the saddle nice and smooth, you can see the seat right there. I take my hand on the bottom of the seat, starting in the middle, and I work my way an inch at a time backwards, all the way back, and then I work it sideways, and my seat goes on perfectly smooth. All right, thank you.